Here we go, 2-0, right? 2-0 series lead for the Raptors. They hit the road against the Wizards. The Wizards are 218 the total, down to 1.5 in some spots. We'll see if this is 1-2-3 Cancun. Remember what happened a couple years ago, right?
Sure.
Toronto with the 1-2-3 Cancun. Had home court, got swept in D.C. and lost by 30 in Game 4. So we'll see what the Wizards are made of in this one. Toronto is 3rd in offensive efficiency, and the Wizards were 15th in defense. It's been a horror show. Toronto's been able to get whatever they want in the first couple games, especially they've been deadly from 3, 16-30 in Game 1, and continue with a hot start shooting the 3 in Game 2.
Yeah, sure. I mean, when you're talking about bright spots for the Wizards, there haven't been a whole lot in this series. I give them credit for rallying back to make a competitive game in Game 2 after getting slapped around pretty bad in the first half. Didn't matter, in the first half, in the first quarter of that contest. Toronto's Dwayne Casey, quote, "A few years ago, we had to have that underdog mentality, that chip on our shoulder mentality, or else. So we're growing. I think our guys are developing a mental toughness that you have to be the favorite." So we've seen in the not too distant past, Washington be good enough to put their foot down and step on Toronto when they had them with an opportunity to knock them out of the first round in sweep fashion. Now the situation is reversed. And certainly the quote from Casey is saying, hey, these guys might not need their backs against the walls to bring their A game here. Their A game could be forthcoming despite the fact that they're not in a must-win spot.
Killed them on the glass in Game 2, and I think it's very important for Toronto because they can look at that matchup going on before them. That could be a 6 or 7 game series with the Pacers and the Cavs. So they should take care of business, try to win in 4 and 5 and get some rest and move on. DeRozan had 37 as they shot 51% from the floor in Game 2. Valanciunas had 19 and 14. Now, how about Beal? Now, again, this is why it's an interesting series because Washington's a talented team. Again, they should have went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Beal was horrendous. And their bench actually hung in there in Game 2 and kept them in the game because Beal and Wall were in foul trouble. They were outscored by 34 points when Beal was on the floor in Game 2. And a guy who's played well in both games has been Mike Scott. Where would they be without this guy? And going back to something you said earlier, yeah, they were getting blown out. And then the fourth quarter, they cut it to 5. Casey put some dog shit lineup out there, which I'd like to see him tighten the rotation. Yes, they have a great bench, but he played 13 guys in Game 2. So, I mean, some mixing and matches and some of the lineups he had out there, he put DeRozan back in, bam, went right back up to 12 and the game was over. So, Van Vliet only played 3 minutes in Game 2. Still there's a lot to like with the Raptors. But, we'll find out. We'll find out what this Wizards team wants to do and what they're made of if they want to try to make it a series tonight and show up.
Yes and no, because, Toronto's going to have something to say with that. And I talked a few minutes ago about I don't like the fact the Cavs have made multiple changes to their starting lineup. There's talk that the Wizards could start Mike Scott tonight, who's been the only guy that's been productive for them off the bench. Yep. And they're going to put him, in theory, in place of Gortat, who's really had a bad series. Gortat's been eaten up in this series. The quote from John Wall, when we go small, Mike's the guy that can shoot from 3, and then they switch smalls on him. He can definitely score in the post. But if they do go small, the Raptors were, plus 14 on the boards in game number 2. Mm-hmm. They go with Scott instead of Gortat. That plus 14 on the boards could happen again tonight. Of course, the last quote from Dwayne Casey, it's going to be a hostile environment. They're going to be playing in desperate mode. We've got to continue to be hungry. We've got to continue to go in with the fighter's mentality to start the game as we did at home. This is one where I think the team that has the lead early has a pretty big edge. Watch that first quarter if you're getting involved in-game wagering with this one. You may want to get involved with something right away if you see somebody coming with the appropriate energy from the opening tip. Like the show? Help us keep the lights on. Please make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to all the Sportsbook Review videos. Thanks so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the games.